Good evening, fellow Ambazonians at home and abroad, our IDPs, our prisoners of war, those who are in transit for refugee claims as a result of this war that have been brought upon our people by the state of Cameroon. I welcome you all to this channel. I am Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Governing Council. I've come today with you with message from the Ambazonian Governing Council and briefing from our Liberation War in Ground Zero. You are all highly welcome. And I will ask you to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, and subscribe to the channel of the ACN Television, a medium where we deliver revolutionary news as and updates to our people across the globe through our national TV. Everybody, you are highly welcome. Today, na number 28 day for this December 2022. We can run out of this year, so I want to rush and bring on this very important program a bit titled Setting the Record Straight, which I'm going to do that. But first, I'm going to take you through some very important updates in Ground Zero, very important and tragic happenings that have happened to our people, especially the burning down of a village called Nki in Oko. I'm going to bring those images to you and to tell you the ramification of those images. And I'm going to dive straight into our program very soon. But we are going to start today with the music that comes from Ambazonia that shows the war, the people of Ambazonia behind our liberation movement, the people who are indeed the fuel of our liberation on the ground. Move on, move on. Don't be frightened. No turning back again. We have to fight on and fight for the freedom of our homeland and the independence of our country, Ambazonia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of this program today. You know very well, fellow Ambazonians, that for research studies for conflict in the world for the past 100 years, all single conflict have ended up in the negotiation table. That is why Cameroon's choice of war in our territory is a foolish one. It's a poor judgment. It's a judgment that is going to fail, and Cameroon is going to come back to the negotiation table. For the past 1,000 years, every single war have ended up in the negotiation table unless it is a war where people have been conquered. And since the setting up of the first war order, the second war order, now with the recognition of people's rights, with the coming of the United Nations, no people who have been constituted as a people have been completely conquered through war. It has never happened. They have never succeeded, and it will never succeed during our period. So for the past 100 years, the only war that have not ended in the negotiation table are wars that people have been conquered. And you have examples like in the one of Cameroon, where the Cameroon independence movement led by Nyobe and the rest were conquered. And the only reason it succeeded, it was because the French government have used the playbook of the old. The only people who have been conquered are people who were conquered using their own people to conquer them. And that is the playbook the French government have been using, and that is the playbook Cameroon have been using. You can look for examples during the time of the Roman Empire. Jerusalem and Israel was conquered because they used the Pharisees and the Sadducees to conquer their own people. They used sellouts and traitors. That is how France have been doing. In Algeria, they did the same. They used Algerian patriots to fight against Algeria. As a matter of fact, there were more sellouts, there were more blackleg during the fight for the liberation of Algeria than patriot. It did not work. In Cameroon, it worked. They used the Amadu Ayijo, the Paul Bias, to fight against the Cameroonians, and they won. And they are using the same trick in Ambazonia. They can only win us by using Ambazonians to misrepresent us and to fight against the nationalists so that they can take over our country. That in itself has failed. And today we are moving our struggle into a different level of internalization and recognition. And that is going to be an inevitable truth and the inevitable future of Ambazonia. The ability for Cameroon to continue to subjugate our people and keep us as a colony rely in her ability to use Ambazonia to fight other Ambazonia. Whether it's the using of Cristiano and Sako to declare war, civil war, and ask other fighters to pick up arms and kill other fighters, that in itself has failed. And the war have recognized that, finally. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take you into a presentation today, a very powerful presentation. But first, why I talk about, I started my introduction with the issue concerning the negotiation table is to show our people the truth about negotiation. Negotiation is not a substitute for liberation. You do not expect to be liberated through a negotiation process. Negotiations are usually only a product of your strength. It's unfortunate that in Ambazonia, negotiations have been used repeatedly as a tool for mobilization, a tool for internal propaganda, and a tool to prop up other groups. So we have never had a proper negotiation that is focused on Ambazonia, and we will have that eventually. And our people should know that the people of Bongasville, who are now on the route to attain full independence, who also achieved their own goal to become an independent country through the negotiation table, they had over 10 negotiation processes that were started and abandoned, started and failed before the final one that have given them a pathway to their independence. So Ambazonian people should never have hope in negotiation, but can see negotiation efforts as markers of our internationalization and Ambazonia inevitably becoming an independent state. But do not look at negotiation as a way to free yourself. The only way to free yourself is what the Ambazonian Governing Council have been preaching all along, is a way of armed resistance, the way of arming ourselves so much that no enemy would dare try to occupy us or dare try to make us as second-class citizens or slaves in our homeland. That is the only way forward, and that is the only way we must pursue. So, fellow Ambazonians, I'm going to take you again to Oko, because what is happening in our country with the repeated arson attack by Cameroon government is to demoralize our people, dehumanize our people in such a way that we will accept the burning down of villages as a new normal. If what was happening in Ambazonia during this Christmas period was caused by some natural disaster, the whole world would have been paying attention. CNN, Fox News, Al Jazeera, BBC, everybody would have been paying attention because it is caused by man-made disaster, man-made calamity. The world have turned a blind eye, but we, the Ambazonian people, our eye should be on our people to focus on their pain, if indeed we are fighting for our people. So I will still bring you people image. This one I didn't put it on in my last show because we did not have the images verified yet. Images that are coming from Oku that happened on the Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, the Cameroon occupation forces launched an arson attack in the village of Oku after they have failed to try to capture an ADF commander in that area. In retreating, they burned down a village called Kill in Oku. I'm going to play the images so that you can.
Yeah, this is the black shoe of Oku.
Oh, sorry.
They have burned one Amoka. As you can see, the intelligence force of Oku. One Amoka don't sleep. Bang, 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 bang. One Amoka sleep like gorilla. And the intelligence force, they have black shoe them.
I'm sorry, I'm playing the wrong video.
Yeah. This is the
Yeah. And I think when I see which way.
So on Christmas Eve, when every family is preparing to celebrate this religious festivity, whether you call it religious festivity or not, in the village of Oko, is very important. If you cannot feel for these people, then I don't know what you are doing in this struggle. Remember that all of these houses have people's investment in them. It takes a lifetime saving to build up a structure in Ambazonia. Imagine the family members who were living in these houses. Let us play the videos.
It will happen for born and boy place. Now houses then this will happen and destroy all and put an all for down. All houses then so then put an all so for down. No house no remain. So now about we take 54 houses then.
So you can hear the community leaders explaining what happened in Oko. That the Cameroon occupation forces came into this village called Nki and burned down 53 houses. That means an entire village was burned down on Christmas Eve. 13 bikes burned. These bikes represent the life saving and livelihood of entire families just destroyed like that. Peoples have been rendered jobless, entire community have been turned into bush people. Women who see their period have to go and start using grass. Pregnant women who have no shelter. Houses like this, as you see, you can imagine women, father, mother living in this house for all their life, raising their domestic animals, cooking food for their children. Out of a sudden, all of those houses have been burned down by the Cameroon government, burning houses in areas in Ambazonia because they know that these people they support freedom. They want to be independent. How can a government like this claim they are a government that stands for our people? And worse off, the spokesman of the Cameroon military, Mr. Nguyumu, came out to blame this atrocity to the youth of this village. What youth is not even conceivable. You would think that if Cameroon was doing what they are claiming to do, protecting the people, or fighting to protect the people, or being there as a government, they will not be lying. They will not be covering up crimes. The only reason they cover up this crime is because that is what they want their soldiers to do. And they know that it is going to continue. Those are their instructions. So they want it to continue. These are evil people. This is not a regime that we can do business with or we can stay together with. These are terrorists. A government who claims to be a government but burns the house of innocent people for no crime, for simply having an aspiration, shows you who they are. They cannot do this to their own people. They cannot. Because this is a suppression tactics meant for colonies. And that is exactly who we are in their eyes. Even from last year, let me just take a video and show you an entire village that was born in Wa, in an area in Wa, that was last year by the same Cameroon occupation forces. So that our people know and they don't forget, at least they forget what we are dealing with. This is in a village called Ngom last year as well. Look at families, children, rendered completely house homeless in their own indigenous land. Village house looted by Cameroon government. Senior citizens burnt in their homes by the Cameroon government and the Cameroon military. So how do you expect the people who are in this village to now see some of their own people who are the so-called elites who have gone into exile in Yaoundé to come back to these villages and tell the people that everything is now normal, let us go back to normalcy. Everything is now okay. They should be stoned. Such elites should be stoned. Hear what they are saying. House after house after house, and the Cameroon terrorist spokesman will come and lie about it. The fact that they are lying about these things, even in the presence of evidence and witness testimony, video testimonies, shows you that they are the ones who are giving instructions for these houses to be burned. There is now debate about if Pobia is fit for trial because he will go to the criminal court for his crimes against humanity. There are now talks about his fitness for trial, given the videos we have seen of him in the United States of America. If the old man is still fit for trial, but one day justice will come to him, sooner or later, and all those who are collaborating with him will face crimes. This Christmas Day, we also remember the families who are still houseless, who are now living in the bush. Those who were in Ma, Kima in Bui, in Meluf, and in Yer, where a total of 40 houses were burnt down. Remember in Oko, that is the village of Philomonian, the same person who sits in Yaoundé with Paul Biya, campaigning for him, paying money for villagers in that village to go and fight against the Ambazonian fighters. His house, the house of his village men, have been burnt. If he was indeed a man of honor and a man of his people, he will be protesting in Yaoundé that this is not acceptable. You cannot go around burning house of poor villagers who have done nothing else other than just stay in their home and have an ambition to one day to be free. But they will not, because they present no other person but their stomach. We are waiting them in Ambazonia. Let them step foot in that land in the name of this Cameroon government, and let's see. So, ladies and gentlemen, in also, we have seen video footages coming from Yaoundé about one of the funds in a small village in Bafut being installed. Traitors being installed now, not in Bafut as traditional chiefs, but being installed in Yaoundé. You think that the colonial government, with its ability and so many thousands of millions of soldiers that can be deployed in Ambazonia, would deploy those forces to come and allow these small chiefs to be installed there and then carry them back to Yaoundé so that they can be playing their games with the international community? But it could not work, because each time they bring this huge number of troops, we fall back a little bit, we study them, and then we come back to jam them and disarm them and take more weapons. So it does not last long. They cannot win us, like we said. No country have been conquered since the creation of the United Nations, and it will never happen with Ambazonia. Cameroon will lose this war. So let me bring you footages that are coming from Yaoundé with a chief from Bafut. A chief from Bafut is in exile, a small village in Bafut that they call Mbembli. The fund was installed in Yaoundé by French Francophone traditional people and Cameroon occupation government officials. He is a traitor, and we are asking our people in Bafut that the day this thief steps his foot on Bafut, notify us so that he will answer for these crimes. Watch this video.
Aujourd'hui, je t'installe dans la chaufferie Terroche Exakos, Siméon 2. Aujourd'hui, calme-toi.
So see food. Now the food is here. Fun for Bafut. They can make you for chief for Bafut for inside Yaoundé. Una need the shame. This show una say Cameroon don't be defeated. Una see na that. They make it chief for inside Bafut for Yaoundé installation. They don't even go sell for their village for go install it. Because for Nabumbi is a honorable chief. One of the only honorable major chief who don't stay for a village with people there. Respect the aspiration of the people. When I see their face, when I mark their face, them all. This one are the traitor them. Now the one and this way they will collaborate with the Cameroon occupation forces for target innocent people in their village for kill them. When I see them, they're in for Yaoundé, in exile, sleeping with the enemy that burns and kills our people, responsible for the arson attacks that we have seen around Ambazonia, from Baipania to Bui and Oko this Christmas. These are the traitors. So now take note of their face very well. When they come for village, una make sure someone put them for the place where they belong. If not the time for Jerusalem for Jewish people, them they stone this type of people. Even the Bible says people like this should be stoned. If you commit treason, you jeopardize the life of 8 million people for your stomach, sell them, and you think that you walk free with it? No, that will not happen. We are watching, we are taking notes, and the time for accountability will come, and you answer for your crimes. So, ladies and gentlemen, why we fight to free our homeland, why we have taken major steps to free our homeland. Some Ambazonians, internal Ambazonians, that come into this struggle not to help any effort or to stand behind any tangible effort that will lead to success, but just seek relevance. I don't know for what. Because with the stress that some of us will go through in taking up responsibility for our people and the liberation struggle and for the ache of sea, to gather data, to encourage soldiers on the ground, to make videos to recruit soldiers and push people to fight for their freedom, to sustain the armed resistance and the popular resistance. It's not easy. One of our young Ambazonians that is called Ambe is very sad because I respect people a lot. And when I see him talking, doing his things, he appears like a journalist because I don't see him like an activist. An activist will be actively promoting the struggle, not just reporting news, but actively promoting tangible efforts to resist Cameroon, raise funds to resist Cameroon, and to make sure that we attain our goal of being independent. But just like many of our people, we have seen that some of them are in this struggle. Some, but for their own stomach. For some of them, this struggle is another way for them to become relevant in that country, a relevance they couldn't have back in La Republic. And it is sad because the stress we go through to fight a war, you can't do this for your own aggrandizement, for money. You can't do this for what, for not no other reason. So this man, anyway, that is why you don't see them in defense. That's why you don't see them recruiting, because they play games. They were there just for the money or what? I don't know how I can qualify it, but without much ado, I will take you to the video of this gentleman for you to see how they call it the wicked black man syndrome. It was so easy for me to just insult him and laugh at him, but I will address factually some of the lies he tries to put in our struggle, having no mercy for the people who are fighting for his freedom. Let us go to the video. If I was in my old self, I will talk about him in terms of bush baby, because that will be a better description of him. But as a gentleman, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play the video of Ambe. And it looks like I didn't put up the video. So I'm going to transfer the video from where it is right now, which is in the file here in my computer. Let me see. This is it here. Oops. I can't see that video. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, let me transfer the video from my mobile device onto my computer and let's go straight to the presentation. This is very important. It's a very important presentation because for weeks and weeks now, we have been hearing sabotage from Christopher Anu and the rest about rumors of talks in Canada and things like that, and many other things, strange behavior from our people. And at one point, you have to just answer these people and stop their madness. So I'm transferring the video. I'm going to play the video, an excerpt of that video, and put the record straight. Clear the record straight once and for all. Okay, there we go. We now have the video in place. And okay.
resolve that situation, you talk.
So this is a guy. He's called Ambe. I think most of you have seen his images, his videos before. You know, we have worked very hard for our struggle. If there is anybody who have worked very hard in this struggle, we have been the ones. Anyway, the ones that you know, because behind the scene, our people like our SG, the president himself of the governing council, and a lot of people are doing a marvelous job that you can at least understand what is happening behind the scene for us to have the successes that we have and the difficulties we have in pulling those things off. Because for most of the time, our greatest problem is not even the enemy we see in front of us, but it is Ambazonians that come into this struggle without understanding, with irresponsible attitude, failure to do proper investigation and to understand things and even to inquire from us what we are doing, but go along to even support the enemy and replay enemy propaganda because they want to elevate themselves. They want to become relevant instead of working hard to be relevant and to have tangible result. They tend to blackmail and they go too low. For a gentleman that I have respected for many times, I have not really paid attention to what he says, but I look at him like a journalist who tries to report and analyze things, brings people for interview. As weak as his presentations are, or void of tangible efforts to support Ground Zero, lacking in raising funds for the soldiers that he thinks he cares, lacking the ability to really bring forth the suffering of our people, like we are showing the videos of the people in Oko, to bring them to the international stage and to motivate our people to fight, not just to report things and build yourself a platform. We are not here for news. If we want news, we can watch them from Al Jazeera, we can watch them from Ground Zero. What we do here is to fight for freedom. We are fighters, we are freedom fighters, and we use communication as a tool for fighting. Anyway, this is a gentleman that I have respected. I never thought that this guy could go down this road. In my old self, I'll be here calling him a bush baby and all those things, but I will not do that. And I'll play his audios of this his presentation and let you hear for yourself the type of trash, lack of knowledge, making up stories. It's troubling how low our people can go. It's really troubling. How many of us are left? Every day we discover that more and more people are just full of shit. So let us listen to him. I'll play the excerpt and I will address the things he says, the content, because most time we don't want to just remain insulting here, insulting there, but to actually receive criticism positively. If he criticizes us properly, we will accept it. If we make mistake, we will accept it. Like as I've told you before, in Bongasville, they had over 10 negotiation processes that were failed, that were all complete failure before the last one succeeded. Ambazonia will not be any different. But we must be honest. We must work with integrity and speak with some truth. Our people deserve quality in our presentation, not lies and made up things just for our ego. So let's hear what he said.
The lawyers, or you talk to the leader that has been created by these people.
So because I have cut the video in excerpt to facilitate that, I can do this presentation in a very short period without taking so much of your time. That is why I reduce it very small. So in the beginning, he is talking about Paul Biya, that Cameroon should have negotiated with the people that started, that ignited this current Ambazonia uprising. The Cameroon government should have talked to them. That is what he is saying. Just so that you understand, because I have cut the video. Listen again.
To resolve that situation, you talk to the lawyers, or you talk to the leader that has been created by these people.
So he is saying that the Cameroon government should talk to the lawyers because he is coming up to say that he is against the rumors that we are hearing about the Canadians issue, that there is something going on in Canada. I call it the rumor because until the president of the governing council, Dr. Chua Ayaba, speaks, nobody have said anything. The Canadians have not said anything. Nobody have brought some proof to public to show that this is what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Unlike the Swiss process, where we had documents that came out from the Swiss government, announcement that was made by the Swiss government, public announcement, documents that we could weigh and we could say things out of knowledge. Right now, whatever these people are talking about, they don't know what they are talking about. They have not shown any basis for what they are talking about. Not only have they been wrong, they have crossed the line. So according to him, Cameroon should be talking to the lawyers or the leadership that was created by the lawyers. Who are the leadership that were created by the lawyers? It was Harmony Bogba, not even the consortium. The consortium was created later on. The leaders of the consortium were not elected by other people but themselves. They choose leaders on the ground to form that group, the consortium. So if you say that the Cameroon government should talk to the lawyers, they should be talking to Bogba. If you say that to Harmony Bogba, or if you say they should talk to the leadership at that time, the consortium, they'll be talking to a small segment of people that represent the civil society. But right now, we are not talking about an internal issue that of people who are fighting for federalism. We are talking about people who are fighting for self-determination, for the independence of Ambazonia. So you cannot be saying they should talk about the people. They should talk to the people who created the leadership of the lawyers at that time. But anyway, this is somebody who supported Siseko. And now, seemingly, because probably he doesn't know what is going on or he feels left out, he is coming now to blackmail the whole thing or the perceived thing simply because he is left out or he feels left out. But let us hear what he says.
When you leave them, I start talking to peripheries. Then you're not being sincere.
So what he is saying is that whatever he is imagining or the rumors that is going on in Canada, that they should be talking to the people, the lawyers, or the leadership that was created by the lawyers. So let us really diagnose what he's saying. He's actually saying that you should talk to Harmony Bogba, who was the head of the common law lawyers, or you should talk to the Abobala, who was the head of the consortium, who is now a traitor. We'll talk to the consortium. But we now know that this is a national thing, it's a nationalist thing. So he's wrong. And the reason why he's wrong is just that he just wants to lie, he just wants to sabotage. And you cannot just do things because you want to sabotage with the magnitude of what we face as a people. You can't just come out and condemn things simply because you don't know about it, you don't want to know about it, or simply because you are not a leader. That is my guess. But let us go to the core of what he's saying, the content, not just his appearance. Let's go to the content. Listen to what he says.
Start taking a process which is not taken to resolve other international issues. Then you know they're not being sincere.
So he's saying that the process should be a process that addresses the international issue. The international issue in Ambazonian case is not the problem of the lawyers or the consortium, because the consortium is a civil society group, which is a localized issue. So if actually you are saying that you want the international issue to be resolved, which is a contestation of Ambazonian sovereignty with Cameroon sovereignty, then you cannot be advocating that they should talk to the people who are the lawyers or the consortium, because those people will represent something that is less than what fights for Ambazonia. So you are dishonest. You are a dishonest man. You are in a fallacy. But let us play so that our people should actually know. I know people complain when I do this because they think that I give relevance to people like this who don't have relevance or who are inconsequential. But it is important sometimes for you people to know who they are, because the reason why they make so much noise is because people who are substance have not addressed them or show them for who they are, how ridiculous and stupid or void of logic in their speech. So I'm going to do that to him today. So let's listen to what he's saying and really think about the type of crap that people like this spew out there. Listen.
You know, they're not being sincere. Now, what I really want to address today is those Ambazonians who are offering themselves to be used in that process. either ignorantly or knowingly, but they go there for their own interest, not for the interest of Ambazonia, because if they think about it, they will know that what they're being invited to come and participate in is not something that will resolve the Ambazonian situation.
So he is saying that the Ambazonians who are engaged in the rumors that are going on in Canada are giving themselves to be used for their own selfish interests, and they know that nothing out there will come out for Ambazonia, because according to him, the so-called people who are there, the Canadians, should be talking to the consortium and the people around, the lawyers. That is just ridiculous. If they were to talk to the people that you were talking about, they will be actually stepping down and reducing it from an international matter to a domestic matter. So you are just wrong, my friend. You are just wrong. And I don't know your motivation. Why will you be doing these things? Because any rational person will know that you are wrong. Nevertheless, let us go ahead.
You're going to Canada, you know you're going to a situation where nothing will come out, nothing good for Ambazonia will come out, because all of these people, first of all, they are all collaborators with La Republique. You know.
So, the reason he is giving that nothing good can come out from Canada for Ambazonia is because he's now accusing Canada is collaborating with La Republique. Just listen to how ridiculous this man is. That is how, when you are poor, you are badly motivated, you end up start speaking for the enemy inevitably without knowing. He turned from being a journalist or an activist into a full-fledged spokesman for the Cameroon government or an anti-Ambazonian independentist. Listen to what he's going to say.
Sometimes you have to really think, open your thinking. The Canadian will not oppose French interests in Africa. They won't. They do believe in the system where the French can go and colonize Africa and say that's my territory, and the Canadians will respect it. The British will respect it. The Americans do have a one Cameroon policy. The Europeans will respect it. So what do we need to do?
So his claim is that Canada is collaborating with Cameroon. America is collaborating with Cameroon. The Europeans are collaborating with Cameroon. America have a one Cameroon policy. In other words, he is now campaigning for Cameroon, speaking on behalf of Cameroon, that it is futile for us to go and engage with the international community. But he is wrong. Even the Americans have come out to say that their foreign policy is prone to changes. The American government have sanctioned Cameroon. The Canadian government have backed the American call and the American cause to call for dialogue and negotiation to solve our war, our problem with Cameroon. The Canadians have opened their parliament and received Ambazonian activists and leaders to speak to them. The British have done the same. Even though, because countries have diplomatic relationship with Cameroon, and for diplomatic purposes will always uphold international recognition for Cameroon as it is, that does not mean that we will not fight and use those countries and challenge those principles, because we know we are in the right, even in the eyes of international law and what those countries uphold, which is a rule-based international system and the laws of the United Nations. So anybody who thinks that we are not going to campaign and seek for help from the Americans, from the Canadians, from the British, then that person is out of his mind. That person have not envisaged how is an independent going to come. Cameroon on its own will never just grant us independence. Independence will come with our ability to internationalize our country, our struggle to these principal international bodies like America, Canada, the UK. These are the most consequential international partners that effectuate independence for all countries in the world. These are the gatekeepers. So if this guy now is convincing Ambazonians that these countries can never support Ambazonia, who is he speaking for then? But we know he is lying, because officials from this country have told us that their position is changeable. And we have seen that they are challenging Cameroon. We know for sure that when Belambela, the representative of Cameroon, in the last session of the United Nations had a meeting with Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, passed a strong message to him that was coming from the Americans, the Canadians, the British, and many other countries, that Cameroon should stop this war. And this war is a wrong war. They are fighting a subjugation war, and they should go to a negotiation table. So what Mr. Ambe is saying here is just gibberish. It's an expression of somebody who feel lonely, somebody who feel left out. And instead of supporting right processes selflessly, knowing that somehow we will recognize his good job, he has turned to blackmail like many other people have done so before him. This is just a wrong way to do. He's wrong. Let us listen, by the way.
We need to now, as Ambazonians, find a way to defend ourselves, just like the Amber boys are doing. In fact, the only reason why people are still talking about Ambazonia today is because of the fighters on the ground.
So, according to him, the Canadians cannot help us, American cannot help us, European cannot help us. We just have to defend ourselves. You are going to defend yourself forever? You are going to defend yourself forever? It does not end only with defense. You defend yourself and you campaign internationally for recognition. You are the same person who supports the IG initially against the Ague of Sea when Dr. Chuayaba and Ebenezer Akwanga of the APLM were campaigning for armed resistance. You people were against. Before now you are for. So you are against and for things not because it stands for Ambazonia, but because of your own personal interest or for your own platform or whatever you may be fighting for. But definitely you are not putting Ambazonia's interest paramount. Because today, you are now saying the only way is self-defense. Defend yourself forever. As opposed to internationalization. It is it's a fallacy. You must not choose between one. It is both of them going together. So let us listen to what he has to say.
The people who have picked up arms, because somehow that seems to be the only language that everybody else understands. They come in with arms, they overtake. You pick up arms to defend yourself, then you started a conversation.
So that is exactly what you have done. At a time when Ayabacho and Akwanga were saying that armed struggle is the only way, you people who were supporting Siseko Ayutabi, now you are against Siseko Ayutabi, apparently. Because according to the Romo, he is one of those groups that are there. So the same people who were saying that we should not use arms are now saying that you should abandon discussion. You should abandon discussion. Use arms, then you go and talk. So what are you saying? Actually, you are contradicting yourself. You don't even make sense. You should not just say things just because you want to criticize people. No, you should be focused on a target. What is your main reason of saying all these things, other than trying to bring other people down for no reason? Listen.
And that's why there has been Swiss. That's why there has been Canada going on right now. Because the Ambazonians have picked up their guns.
So now he's just, I want you people to see how lack of knowledge some of these people we listen to are. You are just coming from criticizing the Canadians and all those people. And now you say that the solution is to pick arms. And now you are saying that it is because people pick arms, that is why these so-called processes now exist. So at the end of the day, what are you saying? You are not saying anything sensible, my friend. You just make sound, loud noise and confuse our people. Let's listen to him.
Without the gun, the Swiss will ignore Ambazonians, the Canadians will ignore Ambazonia. Everybody will ignore Ambazonia and act like they don't exist. And let me start with with CDN.
So anyway,
because CDN is the organization that has that goes around doing the dirty work of this one Cameroon supporters.
He is even babbling. So anyway, I cannot speak for the CDN. I'm the spokesman of the governing council, but I have met this gentleman, Mr. Henry. Let me give space here. I've met this gentleman, Mr. Henry. The CDN, as we know it, is an NGO. It's just an NGO of some Ambazonians and their friends who were in the diaspora, who were professionals, and when this war was going on, they saw the needs that Many foreign NGOs are not so much focused on the Ambazonian struggle to push for negotiation as a means of resolving these problems. So they came together to form an NGO called CDN. These are not people who are taking side, because for you to play the role of an NGO to promote for negotiation, you have to be neutral. The NGO have to be neutral. It does not mean that the members in that NGO do not have their position, but the NGO is neutral. How come this guy says that these guys are doing the dirty job? It's just strange, without any evidence. Without any evidence. We know that there are so many people within the CDN that we have problem with their political ideology. But for movement like this, NGOs like this to function, we know they have to have all types of people there. But in our interaction with them, we have not seen anything wrong. In your presentation, you have never said any specific thing wrong. Right? But you have just keep on repeating mantras that are not reality. Let's listen to him.
Now, CDN, who is CDN? Before the Ambazonian crisis, you did not hear of CDN. And then when the Southern Cameroon crisis, or when the Ambazonian crisis started, then CDN organized itself. In fact, I've been talking with people who said that on the onset, they didn't even know what they were doing, but they know that they need to be created. And so they were created, and then they were learning on the job. And now they are coalition for dialogue and negotiation. Who asked you to come and be dialoguing and negotiating for Ambazonians? Ambazonians can negotiate for themselves.
So this guy, this is the problem we have with us black people. When you see black people doing something, your instinct is to minimize them, to question their credibility and their capacity. But when it is white people doing something, you clap for them. That is how that is how NGO started. If you look even at the HD, the Switch HD, which is now a big organization. How did it start? They call it humanitarian war, whatever. It was just a group of people in Switzerland who were trying to give food for refugees. And in their course of doing that humanitarian work, they realized that they were talking to people that could not talk to each other. And they saw that that is how the HD came about. They started doing, that's why they call it HD, humanitarian dialogue. That means in the humanitarian work, they start dialoguing with the parties and trying to bring both parties to dialogue and solve their problems. Even though we have a problem with the way they go about business, but that is how NGOs operate, and that is how NGOs are born. They are born out of problems and need. When people come out, they start to donate money to support the cause. Eventually, they see that they can do more and they continue. They learn on the job. So what is he talking about? Just because the CDN now is a black NGO, we can criticize them based on their conduct. I have been critical of them, but we acknowledge their strength and what they can do and opportunities they can bring as an independent organization. What is wrong with that? But let us hear him, and he will explain probably why he's having this position.
So that's an organization which it is sponsored by the One Cameroon people, and they have avoided the. I think they've been funded, and they've been and so they know their mandate is to bring people to these One Cameroon countries and organizations to use in order to placard.
So One Cameroon countries. Canada is now One Cameroon country. United Nations is One Cameroon country. Yeah? We will see all kinds of things. Clowns. So this CDN, their job is to bring people together. Every Tom and G. They are sponsored from what we have. I have questioned them. I've sat down with them and talked to them one-on-one. Most of their sponsorship comes from governments. United Nations, they apply to this big organization. Of course, in the beginning, most of them in their membership donated money. Some of them were there for their own reason, I don't know. The list is very funny with type of people there who also believe in One Cameroon. I believe there are some people there who believe in One Cameroon, but I know that there are more people there who believe in Ambazonia. But their political opinion do not really matter because the organization functions as an NGO. It is not even so relevant to our struggle. It's just we can use them as well as they can do their own job. So you cannot be complaining about an NGO doing their job. It just shows you that you have lost focus. You are just chasing shadows because you feel that you are not relevant. So the CDN for me, so far so good. Because no man no know tomorrow. But so far, so good. We should criticize people based on what they have done and stop making up.
To create a smoke screen in the Ambazonian thing and continue the colonization. Because these are people who float freely in and out of Cameroon. You cannot go to Cameroon. Many Ambazonians cannot just go to Cameroon and start doing the kinds of things they're doing, form foundations there, and you can't. And they have actually verbalized. They have actually spoken that here are some of the people sponsoring us, and all of the people that they have named have been one Cameroon people.
I like when they do things like this and they don't show any evidence, but they can show the face of Henry, but they cannot show the people who are saying they say that they are one Cameroon people that Henry have said that they are sponsoring them. Those are just lies, Mr. Man. You can do better, Ambe. Stop this nonsense. Go back to work and do your journalism very well. The CDN, as we know, is an NGO that receives money from their project to the international partners that have interest in the projects that they are working and they're operating on. All these lies will not take you anywhere. This is not going to, it may raise your rating because these days coming against good people makes you popular. But that will not help Ambazonia in anything. So you should stop the lying. Just stop the lying. Let us hear what he said because
one Cameroon organizations or one Cameroon countries. So any Ambazonian who is listening to CDN should know that they're listening to the enemy. They're not listening to friends.
So this guy is saying that any Ambazonian who listens to the CDN is listening to the enemy. How does CDN work for Cameroon? I really don't get it. Maybe if you say it, I will understand, and then I will be aware of CDN. But you cannot just come out and make statement claims about people and organization like that, my friend. This is irresponsible. I know that maybe you don't think that the CDN is helping you, or your own person you are supporting. I don't know now you are supporting the Siseko, because Siseko now is aligned with Ayabacho in this issue. We are actually carrying them along. So what are you really talking about? What are you really talking about? This is ridiculous. But we have a lot to give you guys, so let us just wrap it up so that we move forward, we make progress.
They are not out to solve any problems. And so what they've very quietly doing in order to earn whatever the one Cameroon forces are giving them, they've gone and gathered. If you hear the list of the people who were in Canada, you just know that these are the people that Ambazonians despise. They are malpracticing.
Oh, Jesus. So according to him, the people that are in Canada are the people that Ambazonian despise. You're talking about people like the Ayabacho, the Ambazonian Governing Council, according to what they have rumored and they have put out there. You're talking about Siseko and Tabi. You're talking about the APLM of Sokadev. If this guy thinks that these people are despised by Ambazonia, then you have lost your mind. You have completely lost your mind, my friend. And it's so sad to see people like this that you used to think are gentlemen go down this road. I'm going to address those issues and give you some facts later on, but let's just round up what he has to say.
Against Ambazonians and malpracticing against the people sponsoring them.
So look at this is the most ridiculous. If you think that this guy was stupid, I want you to just listen to what he's about to say and see how stupid some people are. Listen to what he says.
In Canada, you just know that these are the people that Ambazonians despise. They are malpracticing against Ambazonians and malpracticing against the people sponsoring them.
What did he just say? They are malpracticing against Ambazonia and malpracticing against the people sponsoring them. At one point, you were making a case that the people who are sponsoring them you were saying one Cameroon country, Canada, America, UK, one Cameroon country. So they are now working against one Cameroon country. That means that they are working for Ambazonia. But at the same time, you are saying they are malpracticing Ambazonia, malpracticing people for one Cameroon country. What type of people listen to this guy? You just say the two opposite. They are malpracticing Ambazonia, malpracticing the countries that are paying them, which are supposed to be anti-Ambazonia and pro-Cameroon. So if you are fighting against people who are anti-Ambazonia and pro-Cameroon, you are fighting for Ambazonia. So you are just throwing gibberish, hoping that our gullible people don't have time to digest it and they have lost their brain, they cannot think for themselves. Unfortunately, they have the sense past kings Capo Daniel and the Lucas Asu to straighten out people like you and let our people know the truth and separate the chaffs. Shifter and Kende, you are in Kende. Water for beings. Oh, oh, man, no catch you. Because people don't go say Capo Daniel over like for use scotch. Or I will say Shumbu. I don't talk. I will say bush baby. I don't go talk. Wanna listen.
And they've presented them to the people sponsoring them and say these are the people to negotiate with. That I think there's a video, there's an audio from the ground zero.
So he is blaming that the HD has presented people for Canada to negotiate. We have suffered. So a whole Canada government will not have their own intelligence sources. Out there, they will not have more intelligence sources to rely on. Somehow, according to you, it is a CDN that is making recommendation to Canada. Where did you get that information, my friend? Some of these people, they decrease. Not only loneliness will kill us, or not only isolation. All this internal opposition, they have to be responsible and be called to order. Anyway, let us watch the video he played.
Forces coming out.
We have seen a purported write-up talking about a successful meeting in Canada, calling for a ceasefire signed by AGOVC, APLC, and ACT. APLC says it is dead on arrival. APLC is the only body to implement decisions on the ground.
So these are the craziest and these are the morons of Ambazonia. So this faceless guy, he comes out and says that there is a document out there that says that AGOVC, APLC, and the SUKADEF have signed some document. And he is the APLC. And now he's saying that APLC is saying that they shall be. Let me play it again, let you hear very well.
APLC says it is dead on arrival.
So you are now claiming that the APLC have signed some document. But you are trying to say that the APLC did not sign document because if the APLC signed a document, you would know and you'll be the one to sign it. Now you are saying that the thing that the APL signed it is dead on arrival. Because before you say something is dead on arrival, it means that that thing exists. You are saying it was a fake document that APLC signed, and you are saying that document, the issue is dead on arrival. This is how people try to just create relevance out of nothing. First of all, I am speaking as a spokesperson for AGOVC. AGOVC have never signed anything with APLC. So you are just making things up just to talk, trying ways to criticize things that, if they exist indeed, will be things to help you. Just because you want to criticize. So, first of all, this guy behind, the guy of the ground zero stuff, the only group that was there that was making it relevant is the SOCADEF you are talking about. The SOCADEF does not stand with you. They were just standing there because it was a chat group. You are there alone. 1st of October, you take a taxi to come and meet General Transporter to just join him because you don't have anybody behind you with one chain cutter that does not work. We don't suffer. We will see kind things them. Anyway, make a player.
APLC is the only body to implement decisions on the ground. La République and its military are those attacking us. They are the ones entering into our communities and killing our people. We are merely defending ourselves. Yes, we are. So La République should be the one to cease fire and release all of our brothers and sisters who have been arrested in connection with the war declared on us by Mr. Pobia.
Now,
so, understand one thing. We agree it is La République who is to cease fire. So, nobody is refusing. It's La République who is to cease fire. I know people like these guys have played some of these their babblers into your brain and you people think that you're talking sense when you're coming and talking rubbish. First of all the groups in Ground Zero that you claim are in that group were gathered and called to a meeting in Canada by this CDN to come and see how they can work together. And I was there representing the ADF. All of us were there trying how to work together. All the group that you claim are in that group were there. So you were saying that they were talking to La Republique. When we went to Canada, there was no agenda. Their only agenda was to help us to see how we can put common policy together. And they adopted most of the policy that we, the ADF, brought on the table, including recognition of our work in the educational system and the approval of community school. So, the only person who is out of the dark, who does not really know what is going on, you claim to be trying to speak for people, aligning people with yourself that have no clue, but yet you have no clue about what is going on. So how can you even talk to our people and educate them when you yourself, you don't know what is going on?
I just wanted to point out CDN because CDN is acting like the kingpin, going around gathering these people, talking to them by the side. I will tell you, there's an organization, I think it's AGOF-C. It's an organization that is totally despised on the ground as people who, first of all, if you just look at their activities objectively, you will know that these are not people working on behalf of Ambazonia, because nobody working for the success of Ambazonia will go into Nigeria and start creating enmity with the Nigerian state by claiming that you want to form an alliance with Biafra. Nigeria fought a war to stop Biafra. And then you want to go and form an alliance with them? Yeah, you're just telling Nigeria, come and shoot Ambazonia and forget about Ambazonia.
So these are the clowns of the day. People talking about things that they have no idea. First of all, Ambazonians, listen to me and listen to me carefully. The Ambazonian Governing Council taking Ambazonia into an alliance with the Biafra is the best thing that has happened to us. Let me tell you tangibly what our alliance with Biafra has helped us today to the stage where we are. Remember, for the past 4 years, we have been fighting La Republique. We have had little breakthrough internationally, fighting on our own. And also remember that people like Ambe and many people that he has supported in the past in the IG initially rejected self-defense because they thought it is going to provoke war with Cameroon. It is going to make Cameroon to be angry with us and fight us and kill us more. They were saying that we are going to provoke Cameroon. The same thing they are talking about Nigeria, that making alliance with Biafran is going to provoke Nigeria to come and beat us. But that is the only way you have freedom, is by taking chances that is going to make the people that hold you oppressed uncomfortable and to challenge you. When we say we have to stop the CDC, some of them, people like him, were saying that stopping CDC is going to make France and the international community to call us terrorists, to call us this and that and that and that. But we know that that is putting them in their uncomfortable place is going to help us. Remember that the Americans gave us protection for our refugees and changed their policy significantly. And the entire world, this is something we don't want to put out there, but I'm going to put it out there for the purpose of our people because this blackmail is just too much. The fact that we get into an alliance with the Biafra now put America's interest in Biafra in our foresight. Because with our alliance with Biafra, we can help them mobilize their people and cut off the Gulf of Guinea from Nigeria protection and Cameroon protection. Biafra brings in 75 million people that can work in concert and harmony with the Ambazonian people to effectuate the type of trouble in the Gulf of Guinea that we cannot do it just by ourselves. It now puts Nigeria's at stake. It is now Nigeria's interest to see that they help resolve our issue. It is now even Cameroon's interest to see that these two people are fighting for similar things, people's right. Biafra may not be as internationally recognized under the United Nations as Ambazonia, but Biafra have been recognized by other state countries. They are fighting for people's right. In a matter of principle, it is the same thing we are fighting for, people's right. Southern Sudan was less of a state than the Biafra, but today Southern Sudan is independent. So people like this do not know how the international system works, and they do not know the calculus that we are using to free Ambazonia. That is why they are free to run their mouth and criticize things that they know nothing about. Ambazonians' alliance with the Biafra changed the international calculus to the Ambazonian struggle and our potential to be contender in the international scene in the interest of what the international community is interested in the Gulf of Guinea. Most of the success you now see today is direct result of our capability now with the Biafrans to influence things in that border. But you don't expect people like this to know. That's why they taught us fighting La République, killing gendarmes. They will go and apologize to Cameroon because their instinct is to be afraid of those things that holds us down. Do you think by playing to the interest of Nigeria, trying to please Nigeria, you are going to get freedom? Do you really think that? When you please Nigeria, they know that they got you covered. Pleasing them means you walk within the lines that they have put to hold you down. The same with Cameroon, the same with the international community. We are going to cut all export to the international community, including fuel. We are going to disrupt the whole Gulf of Guinea until we have what we want. The world must know that they will recognize our people's right. Otherwise, Nigeria and Cameroon will not guarantee their interests in the Gulf of Guinea. It is on the play. And we are not joking about it. And morons and clowns like this, you don't expect them to know what we are talking about. Let alone for them to have a roadmap to win this struggle. All they want to do is to run to the negotiation table and look for a seat and sit down. My friend, it will not happen.
Okay? The status of Biafra is not even the status of Ambazonia. Ambazonia is a legal international entity that is fighting for what by international law is theirs, which was corrupted.
So who is arguing with that in the first place? When you start talking like that, you start using that same logic to say Ambazonia should not go and meet countries that are recognized in the United Nations like America and all those type of things because we are different from them, or in terms of fighting what you are just talking gibberish, my friend. So Ambazonia have to know this. I'll go back to what he has been saying.
In the process, and now you want to lower Ambazonia into a Biafra and start forming a coalition with them. You cannot be doing that in the interest of Ambazonia.
You don't expect people like that to know that. But for the blackmail, he has spilled out a lot of gibberish about the ADF, talking about self-defense. This is what you should know, Ambazonia. He even questioned about ADF fighting and all those stuff. I'm going to present to you a little bit video about the Ambazonian Governing Council, let you know. At a time where all of these people were thinking that it is going to be protest that is going to give us freedom, the Ambazonian Defense Forces, they were on the ground, not just in the diaspora. These are people who have fought for our country before. Our leader, Dr. Cho Ayaba, is somebody who took over the Cameroon embassy in Germany and was willing to go to jail because of our freedom. He has the tenacity, he inspires our youth, and at a time when people did not even accept self-defense, these are the people he had attracted. The Sheikh Harvey Womeleng, the Benedictwa, these are them in Lebialem recruiting youth in 2016, 2015, 14 and 15, for 9 months staying with them in the forest to train them so that they can be able to have the weapons and the tool and the leadership to fight, just like you said, defense, so that Ambazonia can have a chance to be respected in the international community. These are them training youths there with empty hand. And at that time, it was people like you who were calling them Changshu boys. This is the ADF on the ground, training people on the ground. This is the Ambazonian Governing Council on the ground. These are fighters on the ground. Let me bring some other videos for our people to see, because least they forget what has gone on. These are the youths that form the pioneer in our liberation struggle.
One for one. One for all. No retreat. No.
These are the Somali. These are the people who brought down CDC.
All for one.
One for all.
All for one.
One for all.
Yes, I did not so for Libyan for Malam, and I did for
I be the commander for this group. I dey so me as a stand for here. I know say I come on Nigeria. I be go Nigeria for this struggle. I don't go come back. I think about my village. So I come now say, me I come meet up my own brother, fellow brother them for village. So that if we join a group. And this group then I put under Ayaba. Ayaba a group.
So this is the boys that the Ambazonian Defense Forces recruited, sent to Nigeria to fortify themselves traditionally and to get weapons and come back and fight for our freedom. Dr. Cho Ayaba that you are saying is a group, is a father of self-defense. He inspired our youth. He gave us General Ivor. He gave our youth the courage to pick up guns. He trains them. He did not just send people to go down there, recruit and train these boys, but he himself go down to ground zero in Ambazonia to launch self-defense. This is him on the ground with men he has trained, giving them a code of conduct, a weapons, and an ideology to free our country and give us a chance to be free. This is Dr. Cho Ayaba in Ambazonia with the ADF. When there was no group that was organized or that carried gun, he brought us the flag, he brought us defense group with a command and control structure, and did not launch the defense from the diaspora, but went there on the ground after 1 year of training and preparing these boys who have formed the pioneer in ground zero. Even Grandpa Bali was one of these pioneers. General Kata, who created 7 Kata. So this is the ADF. They want to tell you is not fighting against the Republic. And when they came, let me bring you another picture. When they came to ground zero, they did not just fight by themselves, but they went from camp to camp, providing weapons. This is General in Pinying, the forces in Pinying. The first weapons that were provided to them from the ADF. These are testimonials. This is General Koro.
Now we will begin with the top. We will make the video that because we will be there for midday water and we will not no side or follow. And now we don't make our decision. We'll be there for opinion, so no, we'll not get no big man. We will fit talk in our parties. But now we will get for make our decision. But now we don't make our decision. Say we are par. Now general big number. We are ADF. We will be picking for power. Power will give them nothing. They defy this struggle now.
So from the beginning up to now, man, Dr. Cho Ayaba have been fighting for self-defense, training and equipping soldiers with the ideology and inspiring them and giving them weapons. He is the reasons why we are here today. These are forces in Goza.
We get problem for Gram Zero here. I mean this, but for Goza. We get problem for here. General Commander local sees all my weapons them about 20 something promotion. We are sitting the way we get her now. Now I mean they did the church for Camp Goza any day. They the church for Camp. Now just say that the fear I like they for not enter. They know say I don't do them. They for not enter. When I not try to solve the matter, make a minute do arrive for them. When I talk say I talk say say I need work for AGF General Commando. Me na be my general for waiting. Now somebody face me bullet. No me na somebody face some bullet for Gram Zero here. No be they need pay no man for Gram Zero here. We don't decide for fight for una. Muna not take a like say they say we don't turn and slave them.
So these are the youths that were recruited by the ADF, armed by the ADF. When the people like Ambe and those who champions the IG, they came into this, the whole self-defense. They start paying boys to denounce the ADF, buying ADF soldiers here and there. And Boss Dimaya was assassinated and many other generals like him. Some ADF camps had to even change their name, like the Black Shoes in Oko, the Red Lions of Alabukam, and many others, because of people like Ambe. They have made it impossible for collaboration and for information sharing and many other things that would have made us to be effective. They want to just lie about the ADF. And he says that the ADF are people who are antagonized on the ground, repeating Cameroon propaganda. Let me show you the ADF on the ground so that you should know what the ADF is doing. This is the Ambazonian Governing Council. They have come from saying they do not exist
The continuity. This is the continuity of the second session.
These are the ADF.
This is the continuity,
These are
the
the
third
Ambazonian
session
governing
rather.
council on the ground.
It quite a massive turn up, more than 23,000 participators.
So these are the Ambazonian governing council. The people on the ground are with the ADF en masse. The Cameroon propaganda that tries to antagonize the Ambazonian governing council for purpose for preventing collaboration, because they know once everybody is coming in synchronology, we are going to be effective. The only way to spoil it is to target the most organized group. They repeat the mantra and the propaganda of Cameroon, helping the enemy simply because they want to fight against internal rivalry and to project themselves. That is unpatriotic, and that is the wrong thing to do. And the guy even went ahead to say that ADF has never fought any war. That they should point one battle that the ADF has fought. So I'll just show you this image from Oko, the ADF unit under General Bush Rambo of Oko, the armored car kid.
Yeah, this is the black shoe of Oko. They have born one armor car. As you can see, the intelligence force of Oko.
So 4 armored cars are lying there in the valleys in Oko, destroyed by the ADF. This is the ADF commander, overall commander in Oko, General Bush Rambo, armored car killer. It is ridiculous to even try to show these things because we know La Republique always come out to make this statement that ADF do not exist as a provocation. But the last thing we expect is for Ambazonians to pick it up and start repeating La Republique things. These are ADF actions. This Bengui Road. This is an ambush that they killed 3 Cameroon military men there and recover their weapons. There are just so many you can't. Last week we have an RPG attack in Bui that killed 19 Cameroon military men. And you remember Operation Hammer Blow that has been recorded and announced by BBC as the highest military confrontation since this war began between both sides in urban area.
Ici c'est un rincon. Ça tire en vrai. Les gars ont barricadé partout. Juste à l'opposé de l'entrée du groupement. Et ça tire vrai.
You can hear the enemy confirming vrai. Look at the amount of territory we covered in Bamenda to carry on Operation Hammer Blow. The amount of road we blocked to carry out that operation. Huge operation. So for anybody to come up with these silly blackmails that have no place is just to tell you it's a lie. And he even goes ahead to call Ambazonian Governing Council that we are doing kidnappers, trying to repeat Cameroon propaganda. Cameroon says those things to propaganda, but we know this is Human Rights Watch report, the most reputable organization when it comes to human rights report. In their last report about Ambazonia, they said that they contacted prominent Ambazonian groups and leading factions. They contacted the Ambazonian Governing Council, the APLM, they contacted the IG of Chris Anu, they contacted the IP of Yerima about incidents of human rights, kidnapping for ransom, and all atrocities in Ground Zero. They contacted Ebenezer Apanga. The only organization that responded was the Ambazonian Governing Council, which is a sign that they are not the one perpetrating and have taken responsibility to combat it. So this is being recognized internationally by reputable organizations such as Human Rights Watch. And these are the reports so that somebody can you can check it up by yourself. Put a screen player of the report. You can see the report on this is a website. The report is dated June 27, 2022. You'll find this report there that states our effort in combating kidnapping for ransom. You have seen our anti-kidnapping squad. We are the only movement that confronts these things. We are the only people that people call, even the people in the IG, they call me when they have problems and we help them to resolve them. We campaign publicly when it comes to motivate our youth, inspire them to pick up arms. I do it myself as a defense official, make videos to inspire our youth, to educate them about self-defense and the need for them to carry on arms, for them to effectuate it. So when people like this, they sit in their comfort and for purpose of internal rivalry and opposition, they come out to make propaganda that helps the enemy. They are unpatriotic and they have to apologize to the Ambazonian people. It's a disgrace what Dr. Ambe have done. It's laughable what he has done, and he should be ashamed of himself. I don't know where we'll end with these things, Ambazonia. People after people that you look and you think that there are some good in them, they turn out to be people that are empty. But we know it takes just 2% to free a country. And it's good that we go through this process so that we know these people. But we have tell our people, if you are in the diaspora, you denigrate our soldiers, you will be handled when you go back to ground zero. Make sure when you want to criticize us, when you want to say something about us, it is based on substantiative evidence that you can show. If you want to give your opinion, let it be based on something during a period of war. Each time I want to criticize a soldier or a group of soldiers, I make sure I don't just lie about them. I try to verify the informations I have. I weigh them with evidence that are available. It is irresponsible to just lie about organizations like this. Meanwhile, you call yourself as a journalist or activist, I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this program. We continue to fight and encourage our people to stand strong, arm themselves, and do not look upon negotiation as a way, a shortcut to freedom. Even the negotiation can be cut off in the middle. We do not pursue anything with the hope to prop up ourselves, but we put Ambazonian first in everything we do, and we act responsibly as a responsible organization. God bless you all.